Welcome to the show. The H-bomb in the lab, cook and feel on screen. Zesty vibes loud, turn cringe to a meme. All your filters off, it's a wild reveal. One edit from me and the fiction gets real. Play that tape.
So I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you're all enjoying the Kante. Yesterday was a great day here on the channel. Because first off, we had no podcast, but we jumped right into Death Stranding 2. I'm going to give you my summarized thoughts about the game this morning, but I'm not comfortable doing a first impression style video yet until we play it today. And the reason being, yesterday was the cinematic intro, the initial first gameplay, but we haven't even fought the BTs yet. If you don't remember, the BTs are these creatures coming from the afterlife, monsters that are out to hurt people. And they're really creepy, and it's a gameplay element that's different from just the carrying of packages across the landscape and or avoiding raiders. So until I actually get on the BT gameplay in, I don't really think that I can do a proper first impressions of the game. But after today's stream, I think I will. I'll do an actual highlight video where I'll make it the highlight of the weekend and say, hey, here's my first impressions on Death Stranding 2. So expect that. But today, another awesome session, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the game so far in just a moment, okay? So that was great yesterday. It went well. We had good attendance. People were very interested in my initial impressions of the game. The game looks gorgeous, ran really well, and, looked great in my footage, and all my parts got claimed. That's right, because the game used licensed music, which I'm not opposed to. The music actually was really nicely executed in the game. I thought that it had a good usage in the way that it was, crescendo of lyrics and singing at certain parts of you doing gameplay and stuff like that. But because it's licensed music, all the videos from yesterday are already claimed, and I can't make anything on them. So it is what it is. If you are so far enjoying the Death Stranding 2 playthrough, I hope that you will support it in some way. Whether you like it, you leave a comment on it for engagement purposes. Whether you would maybe think of doing maybe a tip or something like that. Dropping by a stream saying hello, doing a super chat, giving a sub on Kick if you're here. Something like that, because I make absolutely nothing on the videos, right? What a shocking twist that in 2025, YouTube's insanely broken system would, misappropriate ownership of videos to people who don't own them. And then people who actually work don't get credit for it. It's not a big deal. The videos don't have tons of views either. To be frank with all of you, I wasn't expecting Death Stranding 2 to do so well on the channel. I even said to you that I felt this particular playthrough wasn't going to do well because of the style of game that it is. If you remember years ago, Death Stranding 1 also didn't do well. All right. And people actually told me within a few streams to stop playing it because it was boring and stuff like that. In this case, I kind of know what I'm expecting. And here's the thing. Even if the videos don't do well, because people are already watching the game on someone else's channel because the game's been out since Monday for certain people, or because people are watching the people who steal my content and watching it on their channels instead, whatever it is, I don't really care. I just want the streams to do well. Because the streams are really where I support for, make a living. So as long as the streams are doing well, I'll keep it in the rotation. But I obviously would like your opinions on this game as we continue to play it. Today, we will definitely have new gameplay elements and things introduced. But after that, I get the feeling it's going to start to feel more samey around the third and fourth streams. So let's see how it goes. Thanks in advance to anyone who sticks around and supports. But, initial impressions coming in just a little bit, and an actual full-on first impressions video will be coming later tonight on the channel as a highlight after I've played today's stream. Okay? I want you guys to understand we're probably doing both anyway over the summer. Whatever we don't do this coming week, we're going to end up doing later on, probably in August. So don't worry about it and be like, oh no, if you decide to do this one or the other, that means the other one's not going to happen. It's definitely not the case. It's just a matter of what comes first. And I've seen some people excited for Suikoden 2 and some people excited for GTA 4. So we're kind of figuring this out as much as we can. All right. So I love your opinions. What do you guys think? Every day I've been asking whenever I do a podcast or if I'm hanging out with people, before a gameplay session, what do you guys think? What do you guys here who are here today this morning? What do you think you would like more between those two? What do you guys think? Soy codeine? Nice. Take some soy codeine. That's a little different from soy codeine. Dirt Rally and Zomboid? Wow, 2 games we're not playing? Thanks for mentioning them. Excellent. Daily Demos is GTA. Nobody wants either of those games? Oh, okay. So what would you like, Hardcore Henry? What game would you like? You can say something incredibly stupid, I'm sure. Anyway, so I'd love your feedback. All right, we got to figure this out by Tuesday. I think by the end of today, we should probably figure this out. If I do so Coden 2, can I not do all the heroes? It drags out the playthrough a bit. I mean, to be honest, that's kind of the appeal of this Coden series, is the number of characters and recruiting them all and getting the better ending. So, no, if I play Suikoden 2, we will be getting all the characters, just like we did in 1. In fact, for what we understand, it's easier to do in 2 than it was in 1. So let's do some shout-outs, okay? So first off, we start off with James Connor, who did a $5 super chat. Listen to this. This is absolutely hilarious. Remember when you only drank for Christmas? Yes, I remember when I only drank on stream for Christmas. That's correct. Now it's 2 to 3 times a week. Now, it's not. Now it's 2 times a week to max whenever I'm doing a driving game. You know, American Truck Sim, and now we've added Taxi Life. And each night I'm drinking 2 White Claws, okay? Your days off, that's not true. Not always drinking on my days off. I don't know where you got that impression. And every marathon. That is to some extent true. The amount that I drink during a marathon is determined by the amount of support I get. It's kind of a gimmick. You know, when you say you only used to drink on Christmas, you're right, but that's also because we didn't do marathons. Now, we do a marathon once a month, and it's a very special event, and people like it. So if it's working, why wouldn't you keep doing it, right? That can't be good for a recovering alcoholic. Okay, allow me to explain something to you. There's no such thing as a recovering alcoholic, all right, when you're talking about someone who has told you about, like, you know, 7 years ago, I was overly drinking, and I was drinking almost all the time, every night, behind the scenes, awful stuff, mistreating my body, okay? Idiots say things like, well, if you're an alcoholic, you can never recover. Well, let me ask you a question. When you're an alcoholic, it means that you're completely dependent on the substance. Every day, you have an addiction, you want it, you crave it, you want it in your system, you feel better, you get those, what is it, endorphins or whatever when you actually drink, correct? And it's not just alcoholism, it's any substance abuse. For some people, it's cigarettes. For some people, it's weed. For some people, it's other kinds of drugs. For some people, it's eating, actually, but it's an addiction, correct? If you're an alcoholic, it means that you'd rely on this every single day. It has to be part of your routine. It has to be something that you run back to, right? Okay. Usually when you think alcoholism, you think someone has it out of control. They can't stop, right? I will tell you, there were times in my life when this was absolutely the case. There was times during the 2000s, and there were times during the 2010s when this was the case for me, where it was out of control, and I was acting in ways that I normally wouldn't because I was under the influence. It was actually hurting my lifestyle, my body, my relationships with people. Absolutely. I've told you this stuff, right? But what's hilarious about this is that people said, oh my God, wait a minute, but you were an alcoholic. You're drinking? Yes, because in life, it's not absolutes. Do you get it? In life, it's about moderation and doing things responsibly. Maybe in the past, I admit I've had substance abuse issues with alcohol. I've told you all about it publicly. I've admitted it. It's been something intimate that I've opened up about, right? That doesn't mean that today, if I drink 2 White Claws on a driving stream and I get a little bit of a buzz and we're having fun, then now I've become an alcoholic. If you think that, you're actually a fucking retard. All right? I want you to understand that. If you actually think that because someone who has problems in the past is having 1 or 2 casual drinks in a controlled, responsible environment and having fun with an audience, that they're an alcoholic, you're actually a fucking moron. And no one can help you because you actually think life is black and white. It's either you're an alcoholic or you're a fucking teetotaler, straight edge. That's not how life works. Okay? So when you send me a super chat like that and you say one of the most dumb fucking things I've ever heard, I laugh at how dumb and ignorant you are. All right. I'm an irresponsible adult. I'm not drinking and then driving. I'm not drinking myself into a stupor every night and acting a fool. Okay. What you're saying doesn't exist. A responsible adult has the ability to have a drink or two every once in a while and have fun, particularly if it's enhancing the experience of a stream. You guys said me doing this when I'm doing the driving streams is kind of fun because I get buzzed and, we have fun conversation. It actually makes the driving more difficult. And you can see, having, fender benders and stuff in the game. It's funny, right? So could you be dumber? No, I don't think so. I actually think that if you think that because I have a couple drinks on driving streams that I'm an alcoholic, you're actually a fucking idiot. And you actually need help. You need help, not me. You're the one who needs fucking help. Okay? Now, marathons, like I said, definitely interesting because sometimes I end up drinking way too much, I admit, and other times there's almost nothing. It really depends on levels of support and stuff. All right? So, and that, that's directly dependent on something. I told you guys during marathons, I have to pace myself. I will not go crazy and drink way too much. That did happen during my birthday marathon because I didn't understand how strong that moonshine was. Oh, God. I legit drank too much and I got sick, right? That next day, I couldn't even come to stream on time. That's a situation where, things got out of hand. I adjusted. If you haven't noticed, that hasn't happened again. I'm not really doing that stuff anymore. I'm probably not going to be drinking moonshine. It's crazy. It's too strong, right? So, it's that simple. It's not a big deal. Idiots making shit up like, oh, you drink every time on your day off. No, I don't. How would you even fucking know that? Are you in my house staring at me? Do you have fucking security cameras watching my behavior? What are you talking about? Because you live in a detractor world and you're an obsessed lunatic doesn't mean you know anything about me. You're a fucking idiot. So thanks for the $5, you complete fucking moron. I hope you've now been publicly humiliated enough. Although Voltage with a $2 super chat. I'm a recovering pickleaholic. There you go. So there you go. Let me ask you a question. Just because I had problems with addiction to pickles in my youth, all right, does that mean that I cannot eat the Grillo's pickle menu on Monday when we hit the goal and we do this DSP tries as a Sonic? I don't understand what you're saying. It almost sounds like you're an idiot. Okay. All right. Shout out to J Rod, who did a $2 super chat. Did you figure out how to purchase Steam bundles? Has nothing to do with how to purchase. The problem with Steam was it wasn't reflecting the things that I had bought after I'd bought them. So I'd bought a Steam bundle of the maps of Truck Sim, and then I went into the menu for DLCs for Truck Sim, and it still showed I could buy the games again. In fact, it even showed a bundle that had a state I had already bought as available for purchase, and it didn't exclude the state I had already bought like it's supposed to. So it was a Steam issue. I don't know if Steam has fixed itself. Quite frankly, I don't really care. Steam has their own issues. It's just that people it's hilarious because everyone's telling me I'm doing it wrong. Then I outright prove that it's actually Steam, and they go, oh, it's supposed to be because of the Steam sale. It's not working today. Yeah, that's what I was telling you guys all day. That's what I was saying all night. It's not working day. Then why are you giving me a hard time when I was showing you outright in your face that it's literally not working? They already use NOP expansions. Okay, it has updated. It updated now. It's showing that I bought Oklahoma, Texas, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas. So it shows that I have the fixed 6 to 7 new states. So that's cool. Okay. Now, for the record, all right, there's someone here who did a giant super chat, $50. But I just want, their name is Kill Yourself, all right? So Kill Yourself, I'm just going to say this. You should change your name. It's a pretty messed up name. It's a pretty offensive name. It's not exactly kosher in 2025. A lot of people will read that name and be like, what the hell? I'm not even going to put your name on my leaderboard. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. All right? So thank you for a $50 contribution, a $50 super chat. But I'm not stupid. I'm not going to put that name on the leaderboard. It's more like bait than anything else. Oh, look, streamer put Kill Yourself on his stream. Oh, I'm not doing it. Okay? So his message is, hey, DSP, I hope you're having a great day. Ignore the troll. All right, I will. Thanks for $50. I appreciate that. Okay. J. Rod did a $2 super chat and says, do you think that they know more business stuff than you? Here's the thing. They probably understand business lingo, business financials, right? But do they understand gaming? No. If they did, they would not be in the situation they're in. They wouldn't be saying asinine things like everything is an Xbox. You know what I mean? Like, it's not rocket science to figure out what gamers want. You just have to be a gamer. But that's the problem. The people that they put into these positions are always people who are silver spoon in the mouth of rich kids. All right? They went to Ivy League schools. Everything in their life has been handed to them. They don't have to spend any money to actually get anything. There's no actual feeling of investment or risk in anything that they've ever done. And then you throw them immediately into the helm of a company. Well, if you've never actually had stakes for anything you've done in your life, what makes you think that you can actually run a company? Right? Because the thing is, these people fail up, right? They mess up, and then they actually get rewarded for failing. They get paid to fail. And then they get promotions and bonuses, and then they actually go to other companies. You remember Don Matrick, the guy who tanked Xbox One? The launch was one of the worst console launches in history. He was elitist and said things like, if you don't want online functionality all the time, get the Xbox 360. The Xbox One isn't for you. You know, it's fucked up stuff. Do you know what happened to him? They ousted him from the company, and he went to become the CEO of Zynga, a mobile game company, and was paid millions of dollars. I'm not kidding you. He literally tanked one company and was hired for millions of dollars to run another one. That's the people they have in power at these companies, not people like you and me who live in reality world where we're affected by decisions of finances, where we have to realize what's of value and what's not, who play a lot of games and know everything. They hire fucking Ivy League rich kids. And then they wonder why these companies don't know what the fuck they're doing. Ivy League rich people don't know real life. They've never been exposed to it. They've been insulated from. So what makes you think they could make good decisions? Ever heard of Affluenza? Remember that? The rich kid who literally fucked up his whole life, got into a horrendous car accident, maiming and killing other people, and his legal defense in court was affluenza. Because I'm affluent, I've never been exposed to responsibility, therefore I shouldn't be held responsible now either. What? But that's the reality people live in. No lie. That's the reality they live in. So of course they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Anyway, Cyber Elk did a €2 super chat as Phil for Xbox president. Thank you, Cyber Elk. Listen to this. Can we get a dedicated clapping, singing, and dancing segment on the podcast? Your youngest and most supportive viewers love the Dooga Doogas and the rhythmic clapping. Well, there you go. Now what you're saying is to music in the games and stuff, right? Well, listen, I don't know about you, but I tend to have fun when a game is going and there's a lot of good music going, and I can go do, a lot of do, getting exactly right. A lot of games have that kind of a vibe to them. And I know that you may be thinking, oh, I'm making fun of Phil and deriding him by bringing it up this way. No, it's called having fun. Did you ever hear that? Maybe in life, at some point, you'll have some fun for yourself, and then you'll realize what it is to have fun. It's to get into something, to get into a groove, right? To feel it. You ever had to get I'm feeling the vibes right now, right? And when you're feeling good vibes, you want to just kind of like be silly about it, correct? And there's nothing wrong with that, all right? As long as you have yourself under control and you don't lose it. You know, I think that vibing out every once in a while to a cool song or a cool segment of a game is something fun to do. It's not representative of small children. Even an adult can have fun every once in a while. Were you aware of this? Maybe you're stuck in a crappy lifestyle loop, a 9-to-5 job you hate or whatever. And I'm sorry for that if that's the case. But, you know, some people tend to have a good time every once in a while. You know, I like to think that I have myself under control the majority of the time, but every once in a while you just kind of let loose and have some fun. Be a little silly, a little loose. You know, instead of just uptight, stick up your butt all day, to be a little loose is actually kind of nice. But that's funny. If I try to be a little loose, it's like they do the clown emo. Oh, it's clown. He's having fun. He's a clown. No, you're an idiot. Okay. Let's continue. Oh, I got a $5 tip here. From Only Ice Infinite. I have a date next week. Can you give me some tips, please? With a woman, by the way, to clarify. You didn't have to clarify. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's 2025. You could date like a stick from outside that you found on the floor. You could have a virtual date, right? A lot of people do virtual dating now. So, sure, here you are. Ready? Don't go too crazy. Don't be over the top. Don't try to be something you're really not. All right? Humor is great. Usually, women enjoy humor. I'll say that again, as long as it's controlled and not too crazy. Don't go too hard and don't fake anything. Be yourself. And if the woman likes you when you're yourself, then you found a good one for yourself, right? But if you have to act a way that you're not, if you have to pretend to be a character, if you have to, overly go out of your way to basically woo someone over, then that person probably isn't for you, right? You want to find someone who you're going to be okay with spending a lot of time with, and they want to be around the real you, not the you on your best behavior acting like a charismatic jokester. No, they want to be around the real you. So be sure that they're seeing the real you, because you don't want to misrepresent yourself. And the next thing you know, oh, we're moving in together. Wait a minute, I actually hate you. There you go. There's some good advice. It's time to talk about next Friday briefly. I just want to let you know what's coming up so you know what to expect next week, okay? 1 week from today, excuse me. 1 week from today is Indivestments Day here on DSP Gaming. There will be a fun marathon of festivities. All right, what are said festivities? Well, number one, we're going to start around the usual time, and we're going to have some summertime fun. That day, my wife is going to be making a spread of summertime foods, which we will try for not DSP tries it, for a feasting with the king during the course of the show. We're not sure exactly what yet. She has alluded to making a homemade mac and cheese, which sounds really good. She did this a couple years ago, and it was absolutely outstanding, so she does it again. I'm pretty stoked. We'll see what she comes up with, because obviously they're going to shop for the ingredients tomorrow on my day off. So there you go. So that's great. So we're going to have that. Now, basically the event is twofold. The first half of the event, very pragmatically and matter-of-factly, is a closet clean out. Why? I cleaned out this closet 3 summers ago. Are you aware it's been 3 freaking years since I did that? It doesn't feel like it, does it? Right? But it's been 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I cleaned out my closet. It was a huge mess, right? It was all kinds of junk and shit in there. When I cleaned it out, we found a treasure trove of cool stuff. Fan art from back in the day, a classic games collection, all kinds of shit. And that allowed me to now have a closet that was emptied out, and that allowed me to then populate said closet with vests, hats, and other things that I was using as props and parts of streaming. Well, things have changed, because in the last year, as you know, I've had a massive upgrade. My whole setup is completely different, and what's happened is this closet is now once again full of clutter and junk, stuff that I don't even know where it is, what it is. Okay. And what I need to do is go through it again and figure out, this is what makes sense to keep and save. This is junk to throw out. And this is stuff maybe we can start using on streams. For example, there were things in there that now I want to use as backdrops to my streams, but I can't find them anymore. I don't remember where they are, and I don't have time to dig through. So during Indivestments Day, we're going to be going through all that stuff to figure out, is this equipment I want to save? Is this now outdated crap I can get rid of? We're going to go through it all and figure that out. All right. In addition, we'll probably be re-looking at art, and that classic games collection is still in there and all that stuff. It's going to be a fun, chill day. All right. That's one of the things we'll be doing during that day. But also, this is going to be the big retirement ceremony for the vests and the hats, which I used to wear on stream every single day for like 4.5 years, right? It all started in 2020 with the vest treat. And then after that, it was vests and hats and all this kind of hoopla. Well, we haven't done it now in about a year. Reason being, I phased it out. Now I wear nice clothes, right? Now we have a great backdrop. I don't need to be doing silly gimmicks and things to be successful. People just like me and support my content no matter what. And I'm very appreciative of that. I don't have to play dress up every day anymore. I'm a little older now, and I think it's kind of silly, and we've gotten past that point, correct? But I still have a closet full of it. I have like 10 vests, like over a dozen hats. All right? So here's what we're going to do on Friday for the Indivestments Day event. For every $50 of support raised, we're going to have a wardrobe change. So when the first $50 of support is raised, we're going to do a poll. You guys are going to vote. Do you want to see one of 4 hats? And what wins the poll, I'm going to put on that silly hat. Then when we hit $100 of support, it's going to be our first vest. And you're going to vote on what vest you want me to put on for the first one of the marathon. And so I'm going to wear that until more support comes in. Every $50 milestone, we're either going to do a hat swap or a vest swap. Okay? The idea is to try to get through the entire closet. All right? All of the vests, all of the hats, see them all as a big send-off. Keep in mind, I have some of the most zany stuff. I have a giant Viking hat. I've got a football helmet. I've got a Philly red fedora. I've got all these crazy hats, zany hats that I've worn over the years. I've also got a good variety of vests. I got more practical, normal vests that are like beige color, blue. But then I got crazy colors like military camo or the Pokemon vest or the platinum vest, right? So it's going to be pretty fun. And, and I'm excited to go through them one final time. And by the way, this will be the first time ever you'll actually see them in good quality HD. Because I finally upgraded my setup to all be good quality cameras and everything. Hell, we could even do multiple angles, right? Here, we could do double vestments. Double vestments. You can see the angles, a hat and vest from 2 different angles at once. How cool would that be? All right. Now, as many of you would say, well, this is stupid. Well, I mean, the whole thing was, it always was. Do you get it? Like the whole vest street, putting on hats and gunner glasses, it always was stupid. But that was the silly gimmick was, well, all these other streamers were doing streams where they were actually having sexualized content of, ooh, ASMR. And, oh, if you send me a contribution, I'll write your name on my arm and then I'll take my top off and I'll jump in a hot tub full of Jello. While they were doing all of that, I was literally putting clothes on and making a living doing it. You understand that was supposed to be like the joke? But it really was a big part of my streams and my content for a long time. And now it's time to give it a proper send-off. All right? So during the Indivestments Day Marathon, there's going to be a closet clean out. There's going to be hats and vests and things being worn. We'll actually reminisce about the times, like when did I implement this vest? What times did I wear over the years and things like that? And it's going to be a formal retirement of all of that stuff. I'm not saying I'm going to throw it out. I'm not. But what I want to do is put it into storage bins and then store it in the closet. So if we have another special event, we will do it once a year. Hell, and we could do it every 4th of July. The Indivestments Day returns. We do this marathon or that one day only. For milestones of support, I put on silly hats and vests and things again to reminisce about the old times, right? That could be fun. So we're going to do that. All right. Now, also, I'm going to go to the liquor store tomorrow and I'm going to see what they got, see if they got anything fun or silly. Rebecca had been saying they have silly things like they have alcoholic boba shots or something. I don't know. I've never seen that before. I guess I'll see what they got at the liquor store and maybe get a couple things for the event. You know, it's going to be more party. Like, I'm not going to be getting freaking moonshine and shit like that. I want to be more like a summertime party like atmosphere, right? So, you know, hey, if I'm going to put on a hat, I'll also pop one of these silly boba alcoholic things at the same time, you know, and see what it's like and rate it or whatever. I don't know. I got to see what they got because I don't know what they have. I'll just take a look and see what kind of silly stuff they have at the liquor store and go from there. But it will be a party like atmosphere that whole day. All right. So we'll see how it goes, but I think it's going to be a fun day of some booze, some hats, some vests, getting the closet cleaned out so I can actually use it for stuff now, because that's the problem. My floor, I got switched to shit where they're on the floor. I have nowhere to put it. I want to clean out the shelving and everything so I have room to actually use the closet again and be able to get in there. There's shit in there I know I'm going to throw out. There's stuff that I used to have for my backdrop that I'm probably never going to use again. and there's art that I'm probably going to push the sides to put it back in the storage and stuff. I really need to get the time to do that. But at the same time, I can show you all the cool stuff that's in there. It'll be a fun event, a hangout day. A lot of people who want to be harsh about it don't realize 3 years ago when I first announced the Closet Clean Out Marathon and people said it would never work, it was one of the more popular things I had done in years. Seriously, people loved it. So it was so good that people were asking me to clean out the other closets in my house. And I was like, I think I'll hold off on that. Okay? So this should be fun. Hope that you guys will join me on Indivestments Day, 1 week from today, a day-long marathon event. Okay? Cool. All right. Yes, I did hear that. Apparently Street Fighter 6 is going to have a series of summertime bikini outfits available. It's obviously a cheap way to make money, which is hilarious because people have been asking for actual outfits for years. And Capcom almost never releases outfits. And now they're like, oh, outfit 4 for everyone. They're in a skimpy bikini. Like, what? What the fuck? Why? Pretty weird. Dan Jack did a $5 super chat. If wisdom starts at level 1, is the level 1 podcast a beginning or final loop disguised as day 1? You're asking the big questions. But you know what? True wisdom is not something that's handed away. It's something that's earned or learned. Therefore, I'm not going to tell you. You just have to figure it out for yourself. Because then, when you do, you'll truly get meaning out of it and you'll feel as if you earned it and you get a feeling of accomplishment. See? Here you go. Excuse me. Okay. Well, guys, we got a few more extra minutes here at the end of the show. What would you like to talk about? Go ahead and tag me in the chat. Whatever you'd like to discuss, I'm all good here. And by the way, thank you so much for the super early support, and we're almost at the goal. We haven't even booted Death Stranding 2, and we're almost at our goal today, which is crazy. Cyberpunk says, are any games on your radar you'd like to play the whole way through regardless of support? Yeah, I'd like to see the content of Clair Obscur we didn't see. I'd like to one day play Lost Odyssey. I'd like to play Metaphor. You notice they're all RPGs, right? Whenever I want to play an RPG, it seems like people are not down for it, and it sucks because I think RPGs are relaxing, they're fun, they're interactive. It's a great opportunity to do an awesome playthrough, but sadly, the audience doesn't really bite for most RPGs. Look at me with Clair Obscur, an absolutely outstanding game that people complained the entire time that I was playing. So I don't know what else to say. It's usually RPGs are the games that I'd love to play that no one cares about. It sucks. Cyberhawk says, so the days of you playing whatever you truly want are over. I miss the old days. Well, there's some exceptions. For example, I still pushed through with Clair Obscur. And as I explained to you, if we, moving forward this year, let's say I end up having a really good week for some reason. Someone comes by and drops a giant contribution, or I do a marathon that does insanely well, then maybe I would actually schedule a stream of Clair Obscur that we could do some of the post-game content because I really want to do it. I love that game, right? But it just sucks, Listen, the thing is, when I started on YouTube, it didn't matter what I did. It got views, it got ad revenue, and I could basically play and do whatever I want. When I became an interactive streamer, that all changed because now it's about who's going to come to a stream and support a stream as the on-demand videos took a back seat. Take a look at the on-demand videos today, dude. To be honest with you, they barely get any views because everyone steals my content. So because of that, all the views that I used to get to ad revenue on have gone to people who are thieves. So because of that, I have to rely on what I get on streams, which means I have to stream things people will show up and engage in support with. And that's the only way I'm going to survive moving forward, right? And I'm okay with that, but sadly, it means that there's got to be sacrifices. Now, every once in a while, if I announce something special like the Sweet Go to End playthrough, people are, oh, Phil's actually going to do a classic from his past that he had passion for. We're going to come out, we're going to support that. And it did. And it worked. And I'm very appreciative of that. I really am. But sadly, it's not always going to be like that. And it's going to be times when I want to do what I want to do and I can't do it. And there's not much that I can do about it, right? Like, I just got to accept reality. In reality, you can't always do 100% of what you want to do all the time. It's like, it really isn't. I get it. Some people are disappointed because they know that there's things that I would like to do that I'm not doing. What can I do? I got to pay the bills. I got to support my family. I can't just say, hey, come here every day and play another RPG that everyone tunes out for and complains about, and I make $10 playing for 5 hours, right? Can't. I got to do what's going to bring in what, the stuff. What can I say? I don't want to totally change, and will be cases where I make the hard decisions. I could have quit Clear Obscure. I could have quit Blueprints. These are both playthroughs that have not consistently brought in support, but I finished them. I did finally finish Clear Obscure, and Blueprints we are still playing. All right? So, but I can't do it all the time. All right, folks, it is time to end the show and get set up for Death Stranding 2. I want to say, to end this show, thank you for an outstanding streaming week. I mean it. This week, tip-top stuff. I mean, every stream was fun. It was hoppy. We had a great time hanging out with each other, did we not? And in addition to that, we're very well-supported week. And in fact, so far, there was only one stream where we didn't have a support goal, and it was the stream when I beat Onimusha 2 in like 20 minutes. So I had the impromptu swap, and no one was really ready for me swapping anything. So what are you going to do about that? That just happens. That's life. But outside that, every stream that went down as planned, people showed up, engaged, and supported. We're on pace to do another DSP Tries It on Monday. This is excellent stuff. Thank you guys so very much. What a great week it was. Great week, right? Content, finishing playthroughs, chill vibes. Great and good. And like I said, if this continues at the level it is, all right, I can continue to do things such as buy a game and try it, and if it doesn't work, drop it. It's okay. Buy an expensive-ass peripheral to add a whole new aspect to the content I'm doing, because it's not a big deal because I'm making so much I can afford all that stuff, right? That's the kind of shit that I told you guys over the years I always wanted to do, and I couldn't. Now I can do it because of you. I hope that you understand. You can see now I was telling the truth all those years that if I had the flexibility to do these things, I would have, because now I can and I am. All right? Good stuff, my friends.